Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back again. I got to scoot over a little bit. There we go. So we're going to cover, like we normally do, the dollar, the Russell, the NASDAQ, the S&P, kind of go over what happened today, what I think is going to happen tomorrow, next day, maybe. But we're going to talk about after that Netflix, a little reaction to Netflix's earnings, and then what I think Tesla might do tomorrow, and a play I'm going to take. So like the other YouTubers say, you got the hook in there. Stick around to the end. Or what, whatever I say, or not, it's up to you. All right, as far as the dollar goes, let's turn and burn. What I don't like about the dollar is this testing from the top, but ultimately, I want to say we're rejecting this zone, and that yellow box is where I'm paying attention. Price action wise, not the best because we hit that and we kind of rejected. We went sideways, we were holding, but then why the rip up and then test any I guess sellers or any negative. We need to give Don some music to play to give everyone a chance to get in before he begins. I'll be honest, Brad did that 5 minutes, and it used to annoy the crap out of me. I'm on the point, like go and go. Like you'd get you'd always know when Brad's going live because you'll get the notification 30 minutes ahead of time, and then at that time it's another 5-minute countdown. You're like, come on, let's just go. Talk to me when it's important. I don't know why. I can't do the countdown thing. I can't. It just seems like such a waste of time. But I will try. I will try to go a little bit sooner. Anyway, let's rock and roll. The dollar. You think 30 seconds would be plenty? We're a minute and 40 in here. We're good. You don't need 5 minutes, just one to give us time to get in. Okay, I can. No, Lisa, that's not the reaction to you. That's my reaction to the countdown. That's what it does, just even thinking about it. Okay, from now on, let's go 1 minute. 1 minute to BS around. I'll make a joke. Just kidding. Then we'll jump into it. You got a solid minute. Am I stuck in the house because of the cold? Yeah. Yes. As far as the dollar goes, where are we at on the weekly? Still trending down. I don't want that weekly really to change. Technically the weekly trend is up, but the overall trend is down. Again, I do think it pulls back still regardless. What I would not like to see is it bounce here and create that higher low. At that point, I will have to change the allocation in some of my positions. USD JP. What did I do? USD JPY. There we go. When video starts, you're already talking. Okay, then maybe it's a software thing because I feel like I do wait, but all right, I got you guys. Don't worry, solid minute. Then we'll be good. I need that to reverse. Looks like we tried, but kind of closing up high. I need that needs to sell off. But again, same thing. It went for it, but starting to push up to the top. Don't like that. If it breaks that, yeah, it's already going to suck. I am looking for a lower high to come out of this. I absolutely, under no circumstances, do I want it breaking above that. Don waits for 6 seconds. It's enough. All right, so this got asked to cover earlier was, hey, we cover Bitcoin? Where's the next magic yellow box? Right there at the 35,000 mark. And like I talked about, this zone was holding, but I did not think it would. Pretty good lesson, though. So if you're watching these magic yellow boxes, it's not just the level, but it's also how we get there as well. And so watching it come down, bounce. So right there, hey, things looking good. Looks like it's just doing it before. We're good. Things looking all right. Right, red still technically trending up. Even with that wick, we got a higher low. At this point, no. The buyers only took it this far. Sellers still remain to be in control. Those are your clues that things are probably about to get weird and possibly come down. Now, technically, it did that over here and then came back up, but still not a good sign when it hits that zone. The buyers should be right here. That's where we expect them to be. Now, they showed up. We're already down here. We're still holding. So, all right, still type 2. Getting weak right there. Now we couldn't even get any kind of follow through. And so with stocks, I mean, this is where I would entertain possibly even going short. If it's just seeing that price action, and then that, and then send it. Now, again, I do expect it to at least hold right here. Hopefully that is the low. That's where I'm going to buy. Buying considerably more at this kind of like red trend line. I think they're putting Black Beauties in monsters, or it's just me thinking he is talking so fast. Am I talking fast? I can slow it down if I'm talking fast. Make a cool 30-second animation at the beginning, then go live. If someone wants to make me an animation, I will play it, but I'm flat out too busy for that. All right. Anyway, Bitcoin, send it. As far as that goes, still no dollar reaction, so nothing I am worried about too yet. Now the Russell starting to look like a bull flag. You guys hear my cat going nuts? Use AI to make it. Do you know how to use AI? Someone use AI to make me a cool 30-second intro. That is a good idea. Gosh, that's happening. At least for the Don Fran show. I don't know about Brad's or power trading. We got to used to saying that. We're calling it Brad's channel and then my channel, but eventually it's going to be power trading. Cool that it went up and tested that zone. It is a high before that. That could be cool for the bulls, but still ultimately a lower high. So that does reject and come down. I would expect that you'd have your one chance to make a higher low and kind of have that trend reversed. If we blow through that, I wouldn't even expect that to hold. I would expect the lower low at that next level. Now, ultimately, this thing does love to just go sideways, till the end of time. This price action right here almost resembles like this, getting above these highs, but then came back down. Now, on the absolute, now this has been selling off for some time. That's a month in there, almost, right? Go to the weekly. Yeah, there's a month inside that sell off. So still could just be an short-term oversold bounce. But I know financials, yeah, they went for it. Got that above. So as long as that remains bullish, it'll be hard for the XLF to get bearish. So it looks like I would expect a continuation with that for now. As the financials hit that, maybe that would almost put the Russell, depending on how everything else. I mean, the financials are what, 20%. So everything else, I mean, the financials could all hit that next zone, and this could still only make it there with everything else if it's just not good. If everything's on point, we'll probably see it way up there again. You and Brad are now one on the power trading. But yeah, but again, like I've told you guys, it just makes sense because our schedules never conflicted. He's never live. I am. Just kidding. When he goes live, there's 52 weeks in the year. I think he goes live at least 6 or 7 days. Yeah. They never overlapped. He brings up the investing side, and a lot of people like his earnings reactions, just going live at the bell. Now you got the magic of the zones in there. Bing, bang, boom. Perfect match. And I figured another good thing is I want to start making AI videos on Don Fran show. Not obviously not 100%, but the people that just want stocks and they do not care to hear about AI, then they have the option now. You're not simulcasting? You're not simulcasting. Yeah, I am. I got it on Don Fran show and Own the Chaos. Should be. Let me know, guys. Let me know what chat you are in right now. Are you in Power Zone Trading or Don Fran show? We better be simulcasting. Forgive any of the growing pains with this. Okay. Brad's plays has 100% win rate. In the Discord, it does. In fact, it does. All right. Anyway, so back to the Russell. I gotta say, just because of this, it's hard not to think, should we be looking for sellers? Now, I'm not in this one right now. So it doesn't really matter to me at this point, but I got to say that's a strong horizontal pattern. And a lot of times we think here comes the break and then it doesn't, and then it just sells back off. So we're good. Kane's on Power Zone. Vasilia. Am I saying that right? Please tell me we're saying it right. Even Brad pronounced it that way too. What's up, everybody? So that's what I got to ask to get you guys get those keyboards working, huh? Get some interaction in the chats. So we got outside the expected move, reined it back in. If you're on Power Zone trading, you might not know what these lines are. And I don't care if you're a trader or not. It would be foolish to ignore these levels, especially for entries, management, what's going on. You know, like there things don't fundamentally change every day, which is why I make fun of fundamentals. But also, it's that's all just in joking fun because I went short Mara, the Bitcoin stock, because I heard fundamentally why it was up like what 150% in a couple of days. Nothing changes that fast. Okay, unless it had to be like Elon coming out and saying, by the way, we have we've been lying and hiding this from you. But in the Antarctica, we have 6 factories, gigafactories, and you've never heard of the Model 3, the Model Y. And he'd say, we got them all coming in right now. Like that's what would have to fundamentally happen for something to change that quick and it not be a pump and dump. So recognizing how institutions get in and out, where market makers place the risk, where they delta hedge, where they are a neutral delta, what that even means in the first place. To know all that would only help you a million times more. Uh-oh. She says, it's fine. No. How do you say it? Poecilia. Poecilia. No, I need to know how to say your name. Somebody help me. If she's going to be shy, I need to know. NVIDIA does. NVIDIA doesn't care about these lines. So if you're in NVIDIA, then just ignore everything I said. NASDAQ, rocking and rolling. Black Beauty machine. I guess I got to look up Black Beauties now. Gosh. Until this makes a zone, there's nothing to talk about. With, and people ask me all the time. I'll say it all the time. Hey, what do we do when it's at all-time highs? Kick your feet up on the desk if you're long and just enjoy the ride. It has to make the zone first for us to even really talk about anything. And right now, so if we just delete, is that from a previous? Okay, so that's pretty. We're gonna leave it there. But I'll say if we just delete these lines, we know Winnie the Pooh. He showed up here. He showed up here. He showed up here. That's where the seller showed up. Type 1, type 2. Yeah, held it again. Ultimately broke above. Now, this is like a iffy-ish. When we're at all-time high, like this, I trust this zone and this zone down here a lot more than I do this. There's just more price action. The more we have, the more data is, the more buyers and sellers. Because who cares what their reason is, why? That doesn't matter. Where they put their money to work is what matters to me. And right now, some people, they sold right here. More people bought and sent it. If Apple and Microsoft control most of the ETF, why trade hundreds of stocks since they all follow them? If Apple and Microsoft control most of the ETF, we're talking about QQQ. So why? I think why trade the QQQ or just why not anything else? So that was a delayed reversal candle. A delayed. Oh, we're talking about right here. Now, this is why if you just Google candle patterns, you need more context, and that did look like a good reversal candle. But just in that, because I know what conversation we're talking about. What was it? American Airlines? Did we have that drawn on? Here we go. So imagine, let's scoot this over for everyone that wasn't here in the mentorship at that time. That needs to scoot over. Oh boy, we lost it. There it is. All right. What candle was that in? American Airlines. Oh, hang on. Okay, it's at the bottom. 4 hour. AAL. All right. So if you're looking at a can, oh man. So we're looking at that. So wick and all, the whole candle body. So we opened here, we closed here. That would tell you the bears are in control. We close up here. Bears still in control. Closing right here at the middle. Again, we're looking at just the whole wick. The whole span of that 4 hours right now. Closing right there would still be neutral. Closing here, bulls in control. Closing up here, very bullish. So you hear people say, oh, it closed at the lows, this or that. That's what they are talking about. Just so that mixes. There we go. So yes, that would tell you bears for that time being. Yes, they were in control. That's a bearish candle. So that would hint, especially when you park it right where the Nasdaq was at all time highs or after a run. That's a sign. Hey, the momentum's drying up. It looks like only a few people took profit there, and everyone else is like, "Nah, don't worry. You just keep buying," and then sent it. I'd still say overall Nasdaq, not because of the RSI, but I think we're a little overbought, a little extended. But all that means so far is that the red candles show up, you buy the dip. Hopefully the red candles show up. I like to make a stock market sells off thumbnail. I know sell off right into that zone right there. I think it would be a dip buy. Where can I get some of this speed? You say? I don't know. Oh, meaning stock options. No need to look for stocks when if Apple drops, they all drop. It sounds like you drank some apple Kool-Aid. There is a kind of like a watered down version of what you're saying. I don't want to say you're wrong because I get what you're saying too. And we're talking about the Nasdaq right here, the QQQ, the top three are Microsoft, Apple, and is it Amazon? So if Apple drops, Apple does carry pretty significant weight. If everything stayed neutral and Apple dropped, you would see QQQ sell off. And just in that case, you would. I look at these almost as an indicator themselves as far as confidence goes. If we're just ripping and roaring, tech, you can almost buy anything tech that day, and it's good. So if Apple is ripping and roaring, more than likely, your other tech stock just might be as well if it's in the QQQ. And then vice versa. If that thing dumps, it's bringing the Qs down, and it's bringing kind of everything down with it. Almost like it has its own like gravity. I need to find a better way to word that. Same with SPY. SPY would be the top 500 companies. But it's not always the case. Because in QQQ, if Apple goes sideways and you got Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, Meta, any of those ripping up, you take advantage of all those as well. So it does diversify you a little bit. Having your whole account in QQQ, some would say isn't diversified, but really it is just diversified amongst tech. I don't even know what that is, Alex. But as far as stock, I guess to answer your question though, it would be no need to look for stocks. To each their own. There's a million ways to do this stock market. There's quite a few ways to make money out of it. There's about 1,000,003 ways to lose your money. So you just want to be careful in what you do. And so far, Apple just shrugged it off. The whole market sold off and had a full-blown correction. Apple was like, nah, you guys do your thing. We'll wait for you over here. That alone makes it stand out to me. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I would feel much better about Apple if it was sideways for like 3 years outside the AI world. They better announce something AI quick. All right. Anyway, as far as tech goes, the expected move, plenty of room to do whatever we want. If it were to push to 432, I would sell some 436, 438 call spreads. Didn't really get anywhere. We got some room. Still rally base, looks like a little more rally-ish. S&P already did that. Already starting with the rally up. This is all-time highs, correct? It feels so weird to be saying that. All-time highs. The cool thing about all-time highs is that you get to do it every day until there's like a sideways day. It gets a little played out, then they bring the excitement in. I really thought they were going to tease the bulls with the little all-time highs action and then melt this thing down. And I am still an SPXS and for that very reason. Still giving that some room. Right now, obviously, it's down. There's no way to be up on that. But outside of 2021, where every day was all-time highs by like 10, 15%, that's what it used to be like back here. Another all-time highs day. This just reminds me of like 2017 at the vertical rate of 2021. What's up, Michael Anthony? All right, as far as the S&P, as far as expected moves, nothing. We have 71 watching and 5 likes. Yeah, we do need to get some more thumbs up. I was just about to say, do you guys want to join the mentorship? But I guess not. Not with that amount of thumbs up. What's going on with Roku? Is it a Netflix effect? First of all, it's an absolute miracle and proof that religion should be a thing that Roku even exists. Okay? That's what's going on with Roku. Let's just humor you for a second. If anything, yeah, that is a Netflix reaction. It's because we have 50 thumbs down. I don't show. Who that says cut the stream? Yeah, at 100 likes, I like to just continue on to the mentorship, but sounds like we're not going to get there. Gosh, does anybody else just want to call up Kathy and ask her what is she thinking? Super innovative. Anyway. Yeah. Here's what I'm going to do. YouTube, you probably don't know what this means. Everyone else, you do. We'll go over it in mentorship. I don't want to give that one away because of its risk and context. Mentorship, you guys with me every night, every day. But there'll probably be a play recap when Roku gets there. $1 worth of Bitcoin in October of 2009 is worth 40 million as of right now. How many dollars did you buy in 2009? Are you rich? I know that's what everyone asks. Like, what would you do if you could go back in time? It's like winning lottery numbers. I'm like, no, I would tell my old self to buy Bitcoin. Live in your car forever and just buy Bitcoin. That's it. 2009, should I be out buying real estate? No. Bitcoin. You go to the bank, you lie to them, tell them you're buying a house. Really, you just collect that check and you buy Bitcoin. I've not seen the Barbie movie. It's on the list. All right, Netflix. Let's talk about it. Earnings reaction. Full blown sent it. We are above that zone. Oh, interesting. Might sell some call spreads on this. Let's bring up the options chain. What did we have expected left? 40. We're expecting a $40 move this week. $40 move. What's today? Tuesday, Monday. $40 from right here. So we're outside that. So $40 puts us at 523. Oh, shoot. There we go. Okay, $40. Let's go 80. 2 standard deviations puts us right at 563. I bet they're not going to be worth it. What I would try to do tomorrow is after that gaps up, maybe sell a 565, 570 spread, call spread. Let's go white to dashed. Covered calls on Netflix. If I was doing covered calls, I would sell the 560 tomorrow. Roku still not making money, and why Chase? Well, wasn't Dish making money? Just kidding. You'll have to just watch my trade recap for Roku. So they either rein that thing back in or we go 2 standard deviations. And we don't have to, but that's after a move like that. If we catch a continuation because the markets want to continue up and tech is just rocking, and that sector is just going for it, I would want to. I want to play it safe. So if it's juiced up and worth it, I'll actually sell a 565, 570 spread. If it's considerably different, I might sell that for next Friday, not this Friday. I do think that'll be a tough zone for Netflix to actually beat. All right, as far as Tesla goes, let's try that again. There is a play I'm going to take tomorrow. I'm going to sell the 197 put spread, not spread. Sorry, naked puts. There is a saying. I think it's like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but if you party naked, you get rich. I think it's the full saying. So I'm going to party naked tomorrow, and we are going to sell the 197.50 puts. And interestingly enough, so this is a bot that I have in my chat. So you can look up whatever ticker you want. So I put Tesla. I put over 1 million. I don't want to hear about any chump getting into this is all the options data. And golden sweep means a new position. They opened it up. They took it today. And this was right at the bell, right before the bell. Yeah, right before the bell. 8 minutes before close, somebody sold 4 million worth of puts for January 26th, the 197.50 strike. And that has my name written all over it. So the expected move actually puts it zone to zone. If we sell off, we're likely the market makers are expecting to sell off down to here. If we push up, they're expecting up to here. Which is why if you buy any options contracts outside of this, let's say you bought calls, you bought the 230 calls because you couldn't afford the 210. You thought it'd be cool to buy the 230. And then Tesla has an amazing day up, pushes all up to here, and your calls are down. And that's why. That what if factor goes away. So you bought a call, it went up, you lost money because you don't know what calls are and you don't know what you're doing. Or you just weren't. If you were shocked by that, you had no idea what you're doing. What, Matt? What are you laughing at? Kyler says win pullback. In what? Party naked. Oh, party naked, you get rich. Hey, listen, we're gonna party naked. At least I am. You can join me if you want, but don't tell anybody. Don't post it on social media either. I'm shy. Why not buy a call spread for Tesla if you're bullish? So what I'm taking is a bullish play. And so let's break it all down. If I was going to buy a call spread, let's say you couldn't afford a naked call, or because of its nature of it being earnings, you're just going to take that zero. This is what I would call a risk and capital play. I'm going to buy a call. If it goes up, I make money. If it sells off, it goes to zero. There's no excuses of stopping out, adding on, none of that. It goes to zero or it makes me money. And anytime you're playing options, or not options, earnings, that needs to be your attitude. That needs to be your allocation. That thing takes a smooth zero and you're just laughing like, dang, that sucks. Or it goes up and you can just manage the green and try to get as much money as you can out of it. There really is no guessing on which direction it's going to go or having a strategy for it. Even I like to think I might know the direction, because sometimes there's just obvious plays, at least something I would think is obvious, nothing I can even prove. But let's say we have a sharp sell-off right before earnings. To me, that looks like either A, there's, again, two sides of the coin. Somebody knows what's coming, and they're like, no, get me out of this now. Or somebody wants the cheap calls. And then that's why I take the opposite play when we get that meltdown. Tesla reports this week and could be tomorrow. That might be a weirdest coincidence as to why I'm covering it right now for you. Just kidding. Yeah, Michael, it is tomorrow. Been waiting to get in, and we are nonstop. Oh, as far as Kyler's asking about the S&P, yeah, it's at all-time highs, and I mean, until that does pull back, we don't know. It's kind of in the gray area until we find the opposing force. The red candles don't show up. But on that note, that's where patience does pay. Yeah, 'cause you might jack around and just buy it even higher. I just hate buying at the high. Well, is it? Tell me this real quick, Kyler. Is this an investment or a trade? And are you buying SPY shares, SPY futures like ES, or are you buying options contracts? Okay, so a call spread is, let's say you buy the 210, you sell the 215. It'll cost you, hopefully, if Tesla pushed up tomorrow, you'd buy that spread if it's at 212. That spread alone would cost you about 250 bucks. You would make 250 or lose 250. Very much a roulette trade. Great for earnings. There's no need to give it a whole bunch of time. You can just give it to this Friday. You'll be right or wrong by tomorrow. Then yeah, win or lose. Roulette trade. That's a good way to go bullish. And at that point, it just needs to be 250 or higher. Whether it pushes to 300 or 215, 30, where my mouse is, 100% play for you. I think those are better earnings plays because it very much is a roulette play on a roulette trade. Everything just matches up. I'm thinking up. I'm going to put my money on green. That's it. And then the ball is going to spin and see what happens. What I'm doing is, one, I like that they sold $4 million worth. Someone with $4 million, I'd like to think has some kind of parameters, but I like it because the 197.50 is right there in that zone. I don't mind owning more shares. I'm only gonna. I looked at it. I'm only gonna sell 2 of them, so I will collect. Let's see, January 26th. Let's go to Tesla. And I'll go right at the bid. So 197.50. So I'll collect 287 times 2. So a little over 500 bucks. About 560 bucks. I'll collect that. And here's how I win. Here's how I keep my 560 bucks. Tesla sells off and holds that zone. Tesla sells off a little bit. Tesla goes sideways. Tesla goes up a little bit. Tesla goes up a lot. All 100% plays for me. Here's how I lose. It goes down to 197 and below. I get assigned 200 shares of Tesla at 197.50, and then it just continues to sell off forever and ever. I don't mind doing that because I win. One, I keep the money technically if I get signed at 197, my average technically is still 194ish something. So 100% don't mind. I would buy it at that zone anyway. I really want to buy at the 180 zone, but if you had a gun to my head and I owned it at 197, all right, big deal. I would sell calls against it immediately and still make money. So that's why that golden sweep was probably you. Anyway, what I'm doing is I don't mind owning the shares. So if I were to get assigned, depending on where we're at, I would sell the 197 calls against it. And just selling, let's say we sell off right to 196 and I own it, and then we're selling at the money. I would sell an at the money call for $600-700 bucks. Now I would be collecting 12 to 1400, and if it gets called away, I collected my 500 and then I collected my 1400. Still a $2,000 play within. Let's say it sells off Friday, we close right here. Next Friday, we close right back above. That would be $2,000 for me inside of a week and a half, actually. So that's why I'm choosing that play, because there's still some management after. And something I've gone over with in the mentorship, I've touched on a little bit on YouTube as well. I do think the market sells off. Not because I'm a Debbie Downer or just bearish. I'm closer to a perma bull than anything else. But I was thinking we do sell off. I think we sell off at the beginning of the year because, again, it's an election year. I think we send it. If it was an election year, I probably would be looking out for like maybe a March, May, June kind of thing. It bugs me that I missed April in there. But anyway, I would think more middle of the year, more summertime slowdown. But I just don't think they're going to let that happen with elections around the corner. So anyway, do think we sell off. I know we're at all-time highs right now. But I do think it'll be short-lived. So what I'm doing right now, trading futures outside, intraday stuff. I have a lot of shares on things. So enjoying that. Ultimately, my portfolio, Delta long. So I don't mind the green days. Don't get me wrong. But if we do sell off, I'm trying my best to sell puts and not get assigned. But if I get assigned, there is no stop loss with that, to be clear. So far last year, most of my money was made just selling options. I mean, I just didn't really buy a bunch. I used the capital I had to just sell puts and make money. And then the shares I had, I sold calls and made money. And it was fairly easy. We had a great market to do that in. Um, but I do think, we sell off and I do own the shares of things. I'm going to try my best to sell calls against it, but I'm keeping every bit of my shares. So I do plan on holding because I think by the end of the year, the stuff I'm buying at least, I think will be up no matter what the dip is right now. So unless something fundamentally changes, then there will be a YouTube video for that as to why that ticker sucks. Probably lost me a lot of money. Is selling options better than flat out buying? Never tried it. I don't know if there's a better or worse kind of thing. Think of it more, and this is what I try to preach because I trade forex, futures, options, shares. Everything has a time and place. Last year, I made a lot of money selling options. The year before that, or maybe the year before that, it was before Amazon split. And time flies. It was much better buying options, and I made more in 1 year than option sellers would make in 5 years. So it depends if we're in a directional market, a choppy market, kind of where we're trending, what's going on. But just think of it like a mechanic and a toolbox. Let's say selling options, selling puts, cash secured puts. That's your 10mm socket. Buying shares might be a Phillips screwdriver. All it is a bunch of different tools. The market will be your situation, and how do you best address that situation? Hey, here's the problem. Here's how I'm going to attack it. I'm going to sell puts. Hey, this thing's rocking. I'm going to buy calls. I'm going to flat out short shares. I'm going to buy shares. I'm going to jump into the futures market. So that's how I would see it. But I do think if you don't mind owning the shares, there's a lot of times where I say, I'm going to let fate decide. Yeah, you do you. I will just sell the puts. Now, if it drops below, I'm going to buy it. Like right now, I could sell Tesla. I'm going to buy Tesla, no ifs, ands, or buts, rain or shine event at the 180 mark. Now, if I know I'm going to buy it at 180, I could sell right now a put and collect $61. Not likely going to fill. That'd be a free $61. Now I could sell next week. I could go a couple weeks out, sell the 180. Now we're talking $120. But if I'm not worried about when I'm going to buy it, I could go 30 days out, sell the 180. There's $225. If I'm buying it regardless, there's one account where I buy it at 180 and another account where I sell puts and get assigned. One of those accounts has an extra $225 in it. So if you're going to buy it, it doesn't matter. Do it. There's no home runs. I will put it that way. If you're chasing home runs, you're chasing the high premium, you're asking to lose. It's not going to be a fun game. I trade the same stuff over and over again, and everything I'm selling puts on, I will literally own. No problem. The idea is to avoid assignment and just collect the free money. Collect the free $200 and then try it again. It changes from being the person at the slot machine, just pulling the lever, hoping for a win, to the actual slot machine. And just let that person put their little coin in, pull the lever. Hey, guess what? Tesla didn't go to 180. Let's try again. Give it another 30 days. Give me another $200. And just keep it going. That's money from their account right into yours. The only faster way for them would be to just PayPal you. Would you consider rolling the put out rather than taking assignment and doing calls and tying up the capital? It depends on where we're at. I will say, so my ideas on rolling, when it comes to puts, if we're at it's almost for both. If we're at the money, I do, because what you're collecting is a week's worth of theta. Okay. So let's say it sells off right to 180 and we're flirting with it 179, enough to where I'm going to get assigned. I could roll that, go out to another week. That's an at the money put right now. And at the money put is paying, $1,000. So I would collect another $1,000, another $10 per share. Never mind. Hang on. Let's go at the money again. Did seem a little high. Collecting $700, $760. Just to roll it out another week. Now, if I want the shares, I'll let them get assigned, because I do actually want shares at 180. So that's going to be the situational thing there. Do I actually want this? If that's the case, I'm going to let it buy. If it was we'll let the market decide. Let's let fate decide. Let's roll the dice. I'm 50-50 either way. Then I would roll it. Theta, you'll collect the most money at the money. The further you go away, the cheaper the less you'll collect. At that point, it just doesn't make sense. I'll get tired of even seeing it in my account. But I will say, when it comes to calls, before I let shares get called away, nothing ever for me gets called away on the first week. I'll roll that out every time another week. Because a lot of times what can happen is something will shoot up. Now all of a sudden your out of the money calls are in the money. And if you let it go, you get called, your shares, they get assigned, right? They get called away. That's where its name comes from. A lot of times that pullback comes out and you were in the clear, you were just a week early. So it will be a 100% time I'm rolling that. Well, let's call it 95. There are times where I'm just selling calls just to get out of the play. Today's volume was insulting. I love selling options, but you need to learn options first. Yes. Now I do have an options course. You can join the mentorship. You know, that's whatever. Obviously, I'm biased to myself, but I do say this all the time. You can blow your account anytime you want. If you're in that hurry of to blow your account, why don't you just give me your money and I'll give you a cool story. But if you want to take this seriously, learn options from someone reputable and then jump into the options world. If your first thing you did was learn what's an iron condor strategy, the only thing you know about Delta is that, well, if the stock moves $1, then my contract moves that, and that's it. You know literally nothing, and you went about it the complete wrong direction, and it is a matter of time. You are not even a ticking, I guess you're a ticking time bomb, but the fuse is, it's already lit, right? The clock's already ticking. We're just waiting to blow your account. That's it. So yes, learn options first before you just jump in there. Maybe Don will share all the money he collects with the mentorship group. I've thought about that. I've thought about doing a separate account just for that. That comes up in the future. There will be something like that that happens. Yeah. But I want to give somebody away. I want to give a test away first. What's your favorite indicator? My zones that I draw. Outside of that, my expected moves that I draw weekly. That would be it. Who does is not just an airline. Are we talking about save again? I'm about to get to the mentorship group right now, but there we go. Ooh. If I was in save right now, and a lot of people are in save because they caught that knife. This is something we talk about in the mentorship group. It's about time to exit. You can give me a Tesla and call it a giveaway. It would have to be. Steve says zones are gold. I just want to shout out how insane this was. You know how everyone's like, well, in my group, someone did this today. I'm just gonna brag about my group real quick. This jumped up in the morning, tagged that zone. I don't want to shout him out. If he's in the chat, I will. Anyway, jumps up. He buys a put. It goes zone to zone in one day. Turning his $100 put into 700 something. He was trailing it. Was when it tagged out. Oh no, Delta. Okay, Delta's not just an airline. Yeah. Anyway, I never know if I should say people's names on YouTube if they don't want to know, but he was pretty pumped, and I think I was even more excited for him when he told me about the play that he made on that. Just all he did was like, yeah, here's the zone. I'll buy puts. Smashed it. That was amazing. PayPal ready for them call leaps yet? No. That's it's a negative, and this will be the last thing I explain on here. It is a good lesson, something I just went over. That does look a little bullish. I would base my leaps off of this. I'm not buying leaps at all-time highs. That's just not going to cut it. Let's just bring up a ticker. Let's just talk about leaps for a second. Let's go Meta. Meta's my favorite stock, my number one position. So let's go 365 days out. January of next year. I'm going to buy an at the money call, 380. I would need that just to break even to push up $65. So I would need that at 445. That's literally just to break even. And people think it's like, oh, I'll just go long. It's like shares, but I'll own more. And if they knew what they were doing, they could technically say that if they were to buy a more in the money, 1-to-1 delta. What do we say? Let's just see what that even realistically look like. Meta is probably the worst example because it probably will cover that. 445. Hang on. Where is my? Is it nuts inverts? I can never remember what the line is for vertical. Alt V. Okay, I gotta remember that. January 17th. All right. So looking at it, let's say it just continued that trajectory. We would be flirting with just breaking even right there. But this market is incredibly efficient. If that takes any spill of any sideways action, go sideways right here, I would need it to go vertical anyway, just to break even. So I do not like buying leaps at all-time highs. I only like buying leaps when it's a dip. And I would look at the overall market, because if the overall market tanks, Meta's probably not going to avoid that. As strong as Meta is, if the market were to pull, if SPY pulled all the way back down to here, there's no way Meta sits that one out. It's like, nah, I don't want to sell off today. You guys can. But think how much time it would take to cover that ground and then make it all the way back up. So buying leaps right now is just a silly decision. Now, when it hits down here, when I think the market had a correction, an actual correction, not just a pullback, so we're talking 10% or more, at that point, I do like buying leaps, because let's say, look at how many stocks go from here. The S&P went from here to here. Look what your stock did in that time frame. It didn't, if it sold off or stayed sideways, you picked a bad one. That's a whole video in itself as far as like picking the right one. But go from here to here, Meta covered that ground and then some. At that point, it would have been a much better deal. He offered to kiss your fuzzy face on it even. Yeah, another man did offer to kiss me on it because of that Mara play. Would you use a credit card to buy options if your strategy works? Are you asking me, would I say I went to some hard times? Yes. Why not? I know what I'm doing. Would I ever tell somebody else to do that? No. No. Morally, that's wrong. Also, what kind of financial situation are you in? Now, let's say life just snowballed. It just ran me over. Yeah, I could probably get a loan against one of my houses and make it all back quickly. But are you at my level? And I don't mean to say that condescendingly. You're about to take out what, a 29% interest rate to buy an options contract that you need to make that. First, you need to be right, and then you need to make that. There's a degree of execution you have to hit to do that. No, I think I would study. I would strap in, and I guarantee if you're on credit cards right now, I could probably look at your financials. I could look at what you're spending. And I can guarantee I can find some extra money in there. There's a lot of stuff you don't need. And I'm speaking to everybody now. There's a lot of crying in this generation now. Oh, I gotta have that. You don't. You could go on. Dave Ramsey says all the time, rice and beans. Yeah, pipe down, shut up, get to work, get yourself out of any bad positions, because that question should have never even come up. Fix other thing, get a stronger foundation, and then work it. Trump won New Hampshire, market going up. We'll see. Credit cards for options, is this real? Who did ask that? I want to make sure I'm writing a children's book. Oh, I see what you're talking about now. We call him Monsoon. You can't call him Donald because I have no idea who you're talking to. It is mentorship time, but I want to cover that question one more time. Terry. So the guy was right. Why trade Meta if it can't handle the drip? Meta is going to be one of the strongest ones to handle that. Every one I post up here is going to look the same, except for it doesn't have a track record like Meta, which makes it even worse. Crude looks ready to launch. Probably. Lisa, you and I are selling put options on oil tomorrow. Do not let me forget. It's happening. Guys, I do have to get to the mentorship group. What are my predictions for Tesla? Are you bullish or bearish? I am going to take a bullish play by selling puts. So it just needs to only sell off a little bit, go sideways, go up, or go up a lot, and I win. So that's why I'm not directly attacking it as far as like buying calls, adding on shares, or anything like that. I'm just going to sell puts. But I will wrap it up here, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a good one.